Hello, welcome back to VIP in the DMV. I am truly honored and excited about this episode. I have a very special VIP in the DMV. Y'all help me welcome John D.B. Carr, the Sheriff of Prince George's County, Maryland.
Hello,
Ooh.
thank you. It's a pleasure being here with you today.
And I am so excited about this program because, I mean, you actually brought a different meaning to the word sheriff, in my opinion. Meaning when people think about a sheriff, they think about what?
Evictions, warrants, child support, seeing somebody in the court. We also get Andy Griffin, Barney Fife, being up from Marlboro. But no, we want to try to give a different appearance. We want to be part of the community. Even though we're the law enforcement arm of the courts, we want to make sure that we're more part of the community and that we're there during the good times and just not during the bad.
So Sheriff Carr, with that in mind, you're a former Prince George's County police officer as well?
I am not.
You are not?
I've only been in the office of the sheriff. I've been there over 23 years now. So I worked my way all the way through every rank at the office of the sheriff.
Wow.
You know, even starting working in domestic violence when we were serving our peace and protective orders 24 hours, 7 days a week. I worked when we were in the schools. I was a school resource deputy over at Largo High School. Did that for several years, was a supervisor, internal affairs, SWAT. So I've been everywhere, training coordinator, you know, warrants, child support, landlord, tenant, everything. So I've been able to see exactly what the roles of the office of the sheriff, what they actually and how they affect the community. And, you know, being from Prince George's County, I wanted to make a difference and an impact.
I want to ask that question. What specifically, you know, inspired you to become in law enforcement or to serve in law enforcement? Is there something specific?
There were several things. So one, I never thought I would be in uniform. When I was coming up, you know, and as a youth, we looked at law enforcement completely different. When I was playing Boys and Girls Club, you know, I was around in DC working and playing, you know, football. Number 14 Boys and Girls Club right off of Minnesota Avenue.
You still remember?
I still remember that. Yes, I still remember that. And we had a DC officer, Officer Alfred Gurley, who would, you know, pick me up. He was our coach. And you know, they would pass out the player cards. You had McGriff the crime dog. You had them always coming and talking. That was more my positive influence as far as law enforcement. As I became a teenager and I lived off of Sylvia Hill Road in Hickory Hills, my view of law enforcement was much different, you know.
Explain that. Yeah.
So how we encountered and what we would do as far as we're hanging out, you know, we're thinking that we're okay, we're having a good time. That's when we had the go-go's and you had, you know, going out and enjoying yourselves. Our interaction with law enforcement was much different. You know, it was more the lines of they were going to press us out. You know,
get off the street.
You'll be sitting on the curb somewhere in handcuffs. They're pulling you over, asking you, you know, several different questions. So me being in uniform, it was something that I never thought I wanted to do. As I started to grow, went to college, University of Maryland, College Park, ran track. I actually majored in criminology, criminal justice. Wanted to be a lawyer, wanted to be an attorney. Thought I had the mind and the skills to articulate and actually, you know, work within the judicial system, you know, trying to either defend or prosecute cases. As I graduated college. I was still heavily in sports as I ran track and field.
Okay, let me start you for one moment.
Yes.
So, from sitting on the corner,
were
you ever put in handcuffs?
Yes.
You were?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you were one of the people.
Yes.
You mean Sheriff John D.B. Carr, our sheriff of Prince George's County.
Yes.
Once had on handcuffs.
Yes.
On the corner, told to sit down.
Yes.
What was that like?
Field observation, and now I know being in law enforcement, field investigation, you're really trying to figure out exactly what's going on. There's several parties involved, several people are there. You are there as a youth, them trying to understand exactly, does this person fit the description of, did this person do, you know, and they're trying to get information. To me, that was just the time in which, you know, when you encounter law enforcement, that would happen.
That was your
Sit on the curb, that was my experience. Sit on the curb, let us work everything out. They take the handcuffs off. Hey, you need to hurry up and go home. Or, hey, you shouldn't be around here. You don't live here, you need to be over here. You know, you may not want to hang out with this group or you may not want to. That was our experience back when we were younger, especially back in the 80s.
How did that make you feel at that time, though? I can't imagine. I can say I've never been in handcuffs. So how did that make you feel as a youth?
As a youth, I mean, two things. As a youth, one, it was not to say it was an experience that you're not very proud of, but you know, you're with your friends, you have that understanding of, hey, we're not doing anything wrong. You know, we felt that it was wrong that we had to be detained or that they had to ask us information. And you really didn't understand exactly, hey, these individuals are actually doing their job or they're trying to conduct an investigation. It came across wrong, and a lot of that was more communication. It was more on the lines of how you present yourself. And that's something that always stayed with me. So now wearing this uniform, I'm always going to try to be as courteous as possible. I'm always going to try to communicate and talk with you so you understand exactly what I am doing and why I am doing it. I'm also going to want to hear your side of the story so that maybe you can then provide me with some additional information. And a lot of times we were always, hey, you didn't talk to law enforcement. You kept everything to yourself. We addressed and we dealt with issues in our community, and we kept to ourselves because what you may say may be used against you, or what you may say may be misconstrued or may be taken in a different way. So,
but you know, I want to interrupt you for one moment.
No problem.
You just answered a huge question for me, because I've had the opportunity to actually attend some of your not workshops, but some of your community events. And you are just one of the most compassionate, patient, respectful law enforcement people I've ever seen.
Thank you.
And now I understand why you spend so much time in the community talking to our seniors, talking to all the different citizens with that kindness and that patience that you have and the respect that you have, that you serve our community. And so now that answered the question for me.
I also go back to, you want to treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know who you're coming in contact with. That can be that's somebody's sister, that's somebody's brother, father, uncle, you know, husband, wife, whatever it may be. So even though the job is hard and you're trying to get that information, you still can show respect, you still can provide empathy, you still can make sure that you're gathering that information, you still have command presence, but you're also doing it in a way that it brings people down. You want to de-escalate a situation. And that's something that I've always wanted to do in my career, and that's one thing that even when I worked in the schools, I had a wonderful relationship with a lot of the youth there. When I was in warrants or when I was in some of the other units, you still can talk to those individuals and those wanted individuals who you know were alleged to commit a heinous act, but how you treat them and how you communicate with them, people remember that.
That's amazing.
People remember that, and there will be times to where that individual is no longer incarcerated, and you'll be out in the community or you'll be somewhere. You never know who you may run into.
So you have actually done that?
Yes, and there have been times where I've ran into people who I've encountered during my career or taking some sort of law enforcement action, whether it be arresting an individual or whether it be evicting or whatever it may be. And a lot of times it's been in a positive light of, hey, do you remember me? And I remember this. You know, excuse me, deputy, you remember me? And I couldn't remember who that person was. And I thought it was kind of ironic. And it wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny as I look back at it. They turned around and put their hands behind their back and looked at me over their shoulder. You remember me now? And I thought that was kind of interesting, but I then started to remember exactly what the situation was and what occurred. And he said, you know what? I was wrong. I was acting out. I was upset. You did what you had to do, but you didn't go overboard. You talked to me about it, and you treated me with respect. You treated me like a man, and I appreciate that. And that stayed with me as well. Treat people how you want to be treated, understanding that we see people at their worst. It doesn't mean that's who they are on a day-to-day basis. It means that I caught you in a moment in time in your life that you weren't where you needed to be, or that there was an issue and a problem. That doesn't define who you are. That doesn't define your life. So that's something that I wanted to make sure that I push down to my troops and the men and women of the Office of the Sheriff to understand that when we encounter these people, because we have court orders, there's not a lot of leeway. When the judge is saying, hey, I need you to execute, or you must, or use reasonable force, or allowing us to do certain things, it's our job to execute that order. But it's how we execute that order that makes a huge difference.
That's amazing. It's amazing you said that, because I've had the opportunity, like I said, to attend some of your events, one particularly the Silver Circle.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
That's one of your passions, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about that event with the seniors, the Silver Circle.
So our 55 plus community, we want to make sure, and I don't like using seniors because I'm telling you now.
Well, I'm a senior.
And nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. But what I want to say is, for those who have given so much, who have raised family here in the county, who actually live here in the county and 55 plus, they deserve to be kept abreast of what's going on and happening in the community. So one thing that our Silver Circle does, we talk about crime trends, we talk about what's going on in the community. We also provide resources, whether it be from financial, whether it be bringing the fire department there, the Prince George's County Federal Credit Union. We've also brought in elements and people from the courts, some of our other elected officials, so that we can also keep them tapped into their community and make sure that we meet them where they are. And I think it's wonderful. We provide food for them, and we communicate with them.
Yes.
And when I tell you, as you start to age gracefully, you earned the right to say what you want to say and how you say it. So that is probably some of the best times that I do have doing this job, is talking to our senior community, only because, again, their stories, their concerns, and just interacting with them. I learn so much.
Yes.
And it's one of my better times that I have each and every day.
And you know what's so amazing about that experience, because I've actually attended and I've presented financial education to the seniors as well. Yes. Even if there's something that you're not, that you don't do within the sheriff department, you always take the time to guide them to the resource in the county that can help them.
Yes.
So I find it amazing. And with that in mind, I came up with this acronym about you, Sheriff.
Okay. Okay.
Sheriff. Okay, so the S in Sheriff, I want to say servant.
Yes.
I honestly have seen you and witnessed you as a servant. Some folks may not like what I say, but I'm going to have to say and be real about this. Some folks you only see show up in the community when it's time to run for office.
Yes.
You're always out in the community.
Yes.
As soon as I step out there, it doesn't matter what type of event, so many different type of events, I see you out there serving the people. And the next thing is heart. You serve with humility from the heart.
Thank you.
And engagement. I watch you talk to those seniors like you're talking to your mom, like you're talking to your auntie, like you're talking to a family member. And I find that amazing how the seniors engage with you. Then the respect. I have witnessed you respect every single person, regardless of their status, regardless of their age, regardless of what community we go into, because we go into some different type of communities, but yet I see you treat every single person the same. That is amazing to me. Integrity. A man of integrity. We know what that means. Your faithfulness to the community, and then your fortitude, your courage, and your commitment to making sure you keep our county safe. You represent what VIP in the DMV is all about. Somebody adding value, identity, and purpose in the lives of others.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, that means a lot to me. The job that we do, we don't ask for, people to thank us, because, again, we do this because we care.
Right.
And as you talk about some of the communities that we're in, we never should make a separation about where you live or your economic status or what you're going through. I mean, even when you're looking at some of the court order and some of the stuff that we're doing, to go and to see a family going through hardship, and they're going through a situation where we have a court order to do an eviction. We try every and anything to figure out ways that we can try to help somebody, because, again, even though the court order is ordering us to remove this individual or to recover that property, we still can provide those wraparound services. We still can try to work with individuals to make sure that they can still be made whole again. It's all about being about part of the community, and
That's
I would like to believe that I'm part of the community. Just because I'm wearing this uniform doesn't mean I'm not the same person that I encounter each and every day out in our community. I'm part of this community. I'm the same way that they go through things, I go through things in my own personal life. And I want people to understand that this job is really about this service.
So what are some of the challenges we face or you see out there in our community?
So a lot of it is how we treat each other. It's our communication. It's, how we really are able to communicate, our dissatisfaction or how we communicate with emotions. The biggest categories in which we're dealing with in the Office of the Sheriff currently right now with our mental health and mental health unit, that is definitely on the rise, not only here in Prince George's County, but really throughout the country. We're also addressing and trying to deal with some of our youth involvement and dealing with them as far as some of the stuff that they're going through in their lives. A lot of these youth, people don't understand they're going through PTSD, they're dealing with a lot of issues because of what they're experiencing in their lives. The other element that we're seeing and from the criminal standpoint is some of the scams.
That's huge.
It's very huge right now, where we have people who are taking advantage of folks, calling them and telling them that they have a warrant and that they need to pay some sort of amount of money in order for them to recover or to squash a warrant.
Oh, I think you shared this at the last event I went to, the Silver Circle.
Yes.
They were having people meet them at the Sheriff Department?
Yes, they
Talk
were asking
about
people.
that. Yeah.
The scammers were asking individuals to drive to the sheriff's office, not to go into the building, to stay in the parking lot, and that they would actually meet them there in order to collect the funds. I mean, they're asking people to either put money in Bitcoin, bring gift cards, or actually bring some sort of dollar amount to them. One thing that we do now is we're making sure that we're scanning and we're aware of who's coming in and out of the parking lot over at the Office of the Sheriff. But also we're asking individuals, if you do get a call from a deputy sheriff saying that you have an open warrant and that you need to pay money, hang up. And
so we need to hear that again. So if somebody called me and say, Lavita, we have a warrant for you, and come down to the Sheriff Department. If you need to pay money, I should do what?
Hang up. If they ask you for any type of money, hang up. We would never ask you for any money. We would never. And if there's a court issue, what we would say is we're asking you to come down to headquarters so that we can then talk to you or that you have paperwork or documentation. We would never ask you for any money. It's no reason for us to ask you for any money. So those are things that we're encountering. And then also our domestic violence. We're expanding in domestic violence. It's the holiday season currently right now. We're not seeing as much of intimate partner violence, but we are seeing a lot of family violence. And as a whole, our families, they're struggling right now. They're trying to relate to each other.
Can you describe what that family violence is?
So you're looking at, now we have father-son, mother-daughter, father-daughter type violence. We're even seeing some of our seniors, grandparents, now having to raise their grandkids. So what do you tell somebody who's a senior who's already raised a child? They now have their 16 or 15-year-old in the home. That person then starts to get physical with them. That's considered domestic violence. You're also looking at, again, I said father, son, but you're looking at that dynamic of the families. You're also starting to see, because of financial constraints and what we're going through, that you have a lot of folks actually having to move back home. Well, hey, if you're in my house, you're going to follow by my rules. And you now have a grown child who, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. And we're seeing they're getting into it. So it's just not intimate partners. Domestic violence has so many different facets to it that we really need to pay attention. One, we want to educate people. Two, we want to make sure that they have the resources that they need. And then three, we want to provide those wraparound services.
Things have changed.
Yes,
when I was growing up, your parents, I brought you into this world, and I'll take you out of this world. We didn't disrespect our parents. That's very interesting to hear those type of stories.
I'll be honest, what we're encountering right now are parents, a lot of parents may be afraid of their kids.
Why? I can't relate to that.
Every time that we encounter some of the parents. I'm not going to say every time, but when we encounter some of the parents, they will say well, Sheriff, the reason why I'm having an issue with my child is because as soon as I put my hands on him, you're going to be locking me up. And it's going to be abuse. And I try to tell them, it's a difference between corrective action and disciplining your child and abuse.
That's real good.
Two different things.
Explain that.
Two different things.
We need examples.
So
of that
if you're providing some sort of discipline to your child, and you do have to, correct their behavior, and even if you grab, or even if that's not going to, we're not looking at that as second degree assault. Now and that's what they're looking at it as. It's second degree assault. It's unwanted contact. When your child is acting up and you're trying to correct that behavior, it's much different than abuse, where a child is in a fetal position and you're hitting them, on the head and back, and it's much different than that. Abuse is something completely different. And what I say is, there are other ways that you can actually correct that behavior. And one thing that we offer through Vision Quest and one of the other nonprofit organizations, we do a Saturday Academy. and we have the parents there, and we have the youth.
That's awesome.
And we make sure that all the lessons are taught to them together. And we also provide a stipend to those youth at the end of the class, each class, so that it incentivizes them to, one, want to participate, two, it allows them to be there to where we're talking about these issues, so that the parents as well can understand what's the purpose of trying to work and help develop the youth if you then send them right back into the environment and the parents can't reinforce some of the other lessons that they're learned. And we talk about financial literacy. We talk about how to conduct yourself, whether do job interviews. I mean, we do it all. We talk about the courts and this public safety. We talk about mental health. We bring everything that a child or a youth or a family may go through. We try to make sure we bring those resources there to actually give some sort of presentation, have them work together, and to make sure that, hey, they can figure out ways to now communicate.
You have a lot of good programs going. That was one of my questions. What are some of the programs that you have to combat some of these challenges? You've explained a whole lot. So with that in mind, I got my VIP telephone right here.
All right.
Sheriff Carr, we know you're the amazing sheriff of Prince George's County. You do an amazing job in your community. I witnessed it with my own eyes. I've heard it with my own ears. So now, if you had to talk to that younger John D.B. Carr. He wasn't a sheriff. He wasn't a sheriff of Prince George's County. Younger, go back. Get on that VIP telephone. What words of wisdom would you share with your younger self?
That's a very good question. I'm going to pick up the phone, and let's say I'll talk to my younger self. And I would say, John, one thing that I would want you to do and that you need to do is apply yourself. You know, you don't let your circumstances in life affect your decisions and how you proceed or how you move forward. I also would tell myself to always strive to be the best. A lot of times, especially coming up, I would do things just to get by. I really was focused on athletics and sports, academics. I want to make sure that, hey, I need to apply myself more academically. I would also value and listen to some of my family members. I can say that my mother and grandmother, grandfather, and my family structure was very strong. But one thing I can say, I could have took and listened to some of the other lessons. I say that now only because I've lost some of them, and now I'm not able to really communicate and able to talk to them. And now being a father myself, now being married, and being in a situation to where I have kids and I have youth, I would be able to, I truly understand now the reason why, parents and why they were so hard on me. I also would talk to myself and I would tell myself, give yourself grace.
That's powerful.
It's okay to show emotion. It's okay to cry.
Wow.
It's okay for you not to be okay. I grew up in a time to where we didn't show emotion. I grew up in a time when I was younger. Boy, shut up before I give you something to cry for. You don't always got to be tough. You always don't have to be, an alpha. Sometimes you can show your emotions. Sometimes it's okay for you not to be in a elevated state to where you have to always be strong. Sometimes it's better for you to sit back and listen and observe. That's one of the things that I would tell myself as I've learned coming up through life, that especially being a black male in Prince George's County, it is such a privilege, only because when you go throughout the country, you don't see this. You don't see this excellence. And I would tell myself to really appreciate how and where I come from, and to make sure that I understand and take advantage of every opportunity that you're given.
That's awesome. Y'all heard it right here on VIP in the DMV. Sheriff John D.B. Carr. I'll be right back in a moment. VIP in the DMV. Value, identity, purpose. Welcome back. I have another special guest with me right here, Paul Anderson, Chaplain Paul Anderson of Prince George's County Police Department and of Maryland University Capital Region Medical Center. So welcome, Paul Anderson, Chaplain Paul Anderson, to VIP in the DMV. I have you here because we're going to actually do a whole program talking about chaplaincy in America today and what does that look like? But also I would like for you to introduce yourself and tell us why chaplaincy is important in today's times.
Well, thank you for having me on. I am Paul Anderson. I'm a chaplain, a minister of the gospel. I always say that all chaplains are pastors. Not all pastors can be chaplains. What does it mean to be a chaplain? It is, I like to say, a post-pastoral specialty. It requires pastoral experience and confidence, a spiritual identity, and a passion to be compassionate and to journey with people, build rapport and journey with people wherever you meet them for as long as that journey will take you. And that's a very positive thing. I've been a Navy chaplain. I've been the endorser for chaplains, and now I'm back in the seat as the director or manager of spiritual health at the University of Maryland Capital Region Medical Center, and I am privileged to be one of the chaplains with the Prince George's County Police Department, which allows me to work hand in glove with the police department, from the officers to the chief.
And what's amazing as well, when I went through some of the training with you guys, I'm there serving with you guys at the hospital, it was amazing when you guys taught that chaplaincy is not just about bringing people to Jesus.
Right.
It's about meeting people where they are. It's about interfaith. So talk a little bit about that. It's for all people.
Yeah, chaplaincy is not, the role of chaplaincy is not to be an evangelist or a dynamic proselytizer. It is to meet people where they are, often in their existential crises, and helping them to find balance, homeostasis, and perhaps a vision of hope and purpose for their futures.
We were talking to, or I was talking to Sheriff John Carr earlier. Why is it important to have a chaplain in law enforcement?
Because police officers, officers of the law, sworn officers, often see the underside of life. And it is helpful for them if a chaplain is there with them sometimes. We can bring peace. Or after they have had a dramatic or traumatic experience, the chaplain, once they know us and trust us, can be an objective, non-judgmental sounding board with confidentiality, so that they can, someone said to me years ago, even the dish rag needs to be washed out. And so servants of the community need a place where they can have cathartic experiences and receive some guidance and some assurances, and that's what we do.
And remember, you are valuable. You have a unique identity, and God have a special purpose just for you. VIP in the DMV, value, identity, and purpose. Gentlemen, close it out for me.
Value, identity, and purpose.
Bam. Until next time, God bless you. Thank you so much. One of a kind, truly made by divine design. Doesn't matter what they say, doesn't matter what they do, when you know that God has a plan for you. My worth is in Him, I am more than enough. Only my VIP free to be the best me. VIP in the DMV, value, identity, purpose. VIP in the DMV, value, identity, purpose. I'm special, unique, one of a kind. Truly made by divine design. Doesn't matter what they say, doesn't matter what they do.